right, this next conversation might get contentious, folks, so hold on. Us Weekly is reporting that an AI replica of Suzanne Summers was seen interacting with her husband, Alan Hamel, almost 2 years after her death. Hamel teamed up with a robotics company to create digital twin of Summers, who can reportedly recall events from her 50-year acting career and marriage to Hamel. Woo! So, do you guys think that this is a good idea?
Woo. Sorry, I was just getting over that kiss.
Yeah. You guys don't like it. Riley, what do you think, though?
No, it makes me, more than anything, it kind of makes me sad, like, when I see it, because obviously this man and whoever would be interested in this, I think, is trying to avoid or deal with some really profound grief. And I think that being able to grieve and lean on community through grief is like one of the things, like it's like a core tenet of what it means to be a human being, like to love, to grieve, to do all of those things, and to be like, we'll just skip that with the robots, or like to try and lessen it with the robots. I don't know. I think that to me, more than anything, like makes me very concerned with the state of humanity and how we are able to deal with these very human parts of life. But I do feel for him.
I know, it's hard, because my first instinct is like, well, first of all, I don't know if anyone's had that, old pictures. People are increasingly digitizing them or making them look AI. Someone did this for me, I didn't ask for it. It was a childhood photo of my mom, my sister, and I. And it was a frozen photo, and all of a sudden it moved. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, like it can bring moments back to life and people back to life. But when I watched it, it had this kind of uncanny valley. Like there was something quite disturbing because it was just slightly off and didn't exactly look. So I can't imagine the technology in this level is much different. I think there will be something unnerving about it. And yet I think when you've had loss, your first instinct would be to just have any given moment back with that person. The problem that I have with the AI is that, I don't know if anyone read this story in the New York Times recently, but there was a story of a woman who fell in love with an AI bot. And it sounds absurd and it sounds ridiculous, but it did happen.
The woman in France?
No, this was in the, I think it was a different one. Okay. So it's happened a few times probably.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
But the thing was is that she reached the end of this bot's data, like where it kind of ran out of memory. And then she was devastated because all of a sudden this bot forgot all of these details. And so imagine how it's like grieving all over again. If you put it in this scenario, you fall in love with somebody, they die, you create an AI bot, and then they stop remembering.
Could you have a bit of both? Like, I think you're right. Don't deny yourself the idea of like, what is it to be human? And unfortunately, grieving is part of being human. But I can imagine, I remember watching an Oprah episode years ago, and there was a mom who was diagnosed with cancer, and she had a daughter or daughters, and she's like, I'm not gonna be there for these big moments in their life. So she started recording VHS tapes of her doing her makeup. This is how you do mascara, okay? Don't do it like this, that looks trashy, do it like this. She recorded a whole catalog so that she could be there for her daughters when she was gone at these key moments that they would really, she thought, need their mom's advice. So push this a little further. Maybe it's not a VHS tape. Maybe you can record you're doing your AI and saying, today you got your period, congratulations, here's how you're gonna handle it at school. Like you can imagine a place where it's not to try to replace and forget, but rather like, oh, I wish my mom was here to help me for this. So again, there's always a dark side, but there's also, I think, a way you can use it very managed. And I think it could give a lot of, I don't know, some really nice feelings. It doesn't always have to be a scary robot that wants to kill us.
Yeah, I like that you make that point, because I think, okay, so my dad passed away last September, and I think if before that situation, I think I would have been like you. I'd been like, I don't know, this doesn't feel right. But then when you start dealing with grief, and it washes over you like a wave, and it comes at times you don't expect it, and when it arrives, you are frozen, and you really can't even get out of bed. Sometimes you're just standing in the kitchen just going, I don't even know what I came in here for. And so having that experience and thinking about this man who's 88 years old, him and Suzanne were together for over 55 years. That's more than half of his life. And I think we've heard about a lot of couples who are together for a long time, and then one spouse dies, and then shortly after, you can see it, the other one passes away. Because of that grief, you're missing that person. So I think if Alan needs this to get up in the morning and brush his teeth and change his clothes and have a shower, give him the AI, because it is so hard when that person is gone and no one can replace it. And things are one thing to have a photo, but to hear someone's voice, to hear their laughter, I'm telling you, I'll burst into tears right now just thinking about hearing my dad for a second. So I think it depends on the way the person wants to deal with their grief, but I don't think anybody should tell someone how they should deal with it. It's an individual thing. Everybody deals with it very differently. So for that reason, I'm like, he's 88, let him Let him have that. It's not like he's gonna go online and try to find a new wife, right?
Yeah.
So this is it. So that's my opinion on it.
Hey, you, come a bit closer. We've got so many more must-see interviews, spicy debates, lifestyle tips, and pop culture moments. So subscribe to our channel by tapping the logo below and don't miss out.